What's going on, everybody? It's Popular Stranger, and we are back with another episode of my Lions offensive playbook here in Madden 25, ebook / guide, whatever you guys want to call it. And again, thank you guys for all the support on this. I see the comments, I see the feedback on Twitch as well. I'm happy to hear that it's working for a lot of you. A lot of you guys are able to score some points here, and I've been mentioning it. We will be dropping some defensive stuff starting this week, but we got a couple more episodes to finish out the offensive side of it with this Lions playbook. So more and more videos on the way on this channel throughout this upcoming week. My apologies for the last couple days. I wanted to get episode 4, 5, and 6 out earlier in the week, or late last week, I should say now at this point. But here we are. Let's jump on into it, and we're going to go through a couple plays as we've done from episodes 1, 2, and 3. But I actually want to start out with a play that we talked about in the last episode, because I found one small variation this week that kind of worked a lot better than anything else. So again, we're working out of Gun Bunch Nasty in the Lions playbook, and motion Y corner is one of the plays that we talked about. Maybe it was 2 episodes ago, now that I think about it. So let's run this play and show you the one variation. Again, we're going to bring up our hot route menu. I'm going to go over all of the basics here, because I know there's a lot of new people, a lot of beginners, a lot of people that aren't on the same skill level, and I want to explain everything clearly so you guys can all understand it. So to bring up our hot route menu, we're going to hit triangle on PlayStation, Y on Xbox. The first adjustment we're going to make is R1, which is Johnny Wilson, our top of the bunch receiver here, and we're going to put him in a flat route. To put him in a flat route, you're going to hit L2 or left trigger on your Xbox controller, so it looks like this. And then with our running back, which is now Jahmyr Gibbs, first 3 episodes it was Saquon Barkley, we did one of 2 things. We either put him in a table route like this, or we put him in a wheel route like this. Well, I found a different variation, and again, go back and watch. It's episode 2 that covered this play in a little bit more detail. But one thing I started doing late last week that worked a lot for me is actually putting him on a streak route. So to do that, again, hot route menu with triangle or Y. We're going to hit triangle again or Y on Xbox to select our running back, in this case, Jahmyr Gibbs. And then the third thing we're going to do is push up on our left analog stick to put him on a streak. Now, the one downside to this is that you may run into an issue where Jahmyr Gibbs on this route just runs into either a defender or the offensive lineman, the left tackle to be specific, against that right end, because they're doing their thing, right? One's trying to get home, one's trying to block, and sometimes it interrupts that route, and it can be kind of frustrating. But our first initial read is still going to be R1 in the flat. If it's open, take it over there. The X route, the corner route with Vernon Davis now, our brand new tight end, he's usually going to beat man coverage if it's a cover 2 zone, or if the zone kind of comes down to cover Johnny Wilson on that flat route there, it's also going to get open. But you're going to see on the backside here, and it often puts a user that you're going against in a bit of a situation here. They're either going to have to decide to cover that streak route with Jahmyr Gibbs, or that inverted zig route that's motioning across with Devontae Smith. So he's going to come from right to left. He's going to kind of go out towards the left, like towards the sideline, and then do that zig route back in. And by the time those 2 routes kind of intertwine, it leaves the defensive user, your opponent's user, in a tough situation. But I've definitely hit some really big plays up the field for streaks. And also, you can see right there, if there's that little sweet spot, if the user's not there, if there's no AI defenders there, and you don't have to worry about any type of knockout, you can fit the ball in there. Definitely have Tank on your running back as well, because that's going to produce some really good broken tackles. We just got all-out blitz there, and I kind of missed my reads, but it looked like that post route was going to be wide open if we had a little bit more time to throw it. I don't want to cover this play in too much detail and make it the large portion of the video, but I just wanted to show that this little streak route here in that formation, in that play specifically, is a really, really nice addition. So there's really only 2 more plays out of this formation outside of the running plays, which I haven't really mentioned. I mean, we covered the motion outside zone when we covered this entire, I think it was last episode, when we covered the motion halfback choice, because of that similar motion with the tight end where he goes left and then kind of stops at the cornerback and runs right again. You can always run your inside zone here. It gets decent blocking. Halfback base is pretty good. So you can throw those run plays in there. Just wanted to mention them. But the final 2 plays that we're going to mention are going to be Z-spot goal line, which honestly, I don't really use on the goal line a lot, and this one is plays, I don't call it a ton. We'll just be honest there. It also doesn't really require much work. The good thing is the running back's already blocked, so all we're going to do is bring up our hot route menu with triangle or Y. We're going to hit circle for our receiver over there on the far right. This is going to be Devontae Smith. That's going to be your B button on Xbox, and we're going to push up on our left analog stick to put him in a streak. And it's really just a flood concept. If R1 is wide open, if that tight end run into the flat is wide open, we're going to take that. Otherwise, we're looking for X on that really baby corner route. So I just like the depth that this corner route gives by default. If you want to, you can always manually put this receiver on a corner route. So again, hot route menu with triangle or Y. We're going to hit X or A on Xbox to select Johnny Wilson, and then we're going to push right on our right analog stick to put him on a corner. And notice how much deeper down the field that one gets. And of course, we can always mess around with the route stems and make it a little bit shorter, a little bit deeper if we want. But overall, I'm going to reset the entire play. If you didn't know how to do that, you can hit square on your PlayStation controller, X on Xbox, and then hit your L2 button. That's going to reset the play. That's going to be left trigger on Xbox. And again, we're going to run it like I suggested earlier. This one is all about timing, and I've thrown a handful of picks running this play, so you got to be very careful and kind of notice the gap that's there. So you're really free-forming it to the outside and down. So free-forming, I talked about in a prior episode, is going to be holding down your L2 button or your left trigger on Xbox, and then kind of pass leading it down and towards the sideline there. Primarily, we're really looking for this to beat zone coverage, and you can either kind of pass lead it up and out towards the sideline. Sometimes you're going to have to pass lead it kind of out and down to fit in between the corner and the safety there, but it has a nice little sweet spot where it can beat most of the zone coverages. And then you have this backside kind of post route. It's not your traditional post route out there. See, it goes like up, in, up, and then back in. It's a little weird, but it gets open, it beats man coverage, and if your opponent's user is occupied worrying about the flood over on the right-hand side, you're typically going to be able to find some room in the middle of the field to throw that route. Of course, you have to be aware of good users who are able to switch stick. They're going to be able to take certain things like this away, but really, it's just reading your progressions and figuring out what's open, and roughly about 3 of the 4 routes are going to get open in most situations. If the streak is there, definitely take it. I just don't often look to that one because I'm typically looking, and I threw that really late. It was open a lot earlier there. I'm typically looking at the other 3 routes that we mentioned already. And again, I really like this one because you get the block automatically. You don't have to manually block your running back there. Again, this one, that post route, that weird post route, is going to get money over the middle. So nice little flood concept, even though it does have the word red zone in the title. Again, because the window is just way too compacted, I don't really throw it in the red zone at all. I like it for like short yardage situations, like maybe a 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5, somewhere around there, because it's going to get me the appropriate yards with the potential to have a much bigger play down the field here. We could see the backside zone was going to get beat there, so a bit of a timing throw. But like I said, I don't run that play a ton, but I run it enough to put it in this series. And the final play out of Gun Bunch Nasty is going to be drive Y corner. A handful of different ways that we're going to be able to run this one, but primarily if I play somebody who I notice is just sitting in stock cover 3 and they don't really have the greatest user, or maybe they're using the D-line, that's where I mostly take advantage with this play. It's also going to beat a lot of man coverages, but I'm just going to test it here, and we're going to go to cover 3 defense and just do random cover 3s. Now, there are a handful of audibles that you need to make. So the first one is going to be John Ross over there on the left, our square receiver, or X on Xbox. We're going to bring up our hot route menu with triangle or Y. We're going to hit square to select that receiver, and then we're going to push left on our left analog stick to put him in an out route, and that's how it's going to look. The next one we're going to do is put Johnny Wilson, that top of the bunch receiver, on a streak. So again, Y or triangle on Xbox, R1 or right bumper on Xbox to select Johnny Wilson, and then up on our left analog stick to put him on a streak. So now it looks like that. And then finally, Vernon Davis, our tight end, one more time, we're going to change his route, triangle or Y on Xbox to bring up the hot route menu, X or A on Xbox to select our tight end, Vernon Davis, in this situation. And now we're going to press right up on our right analog stick to put him in a post. So this is how the final play looks. Now, my first look is always square. If it's single man coverage and the safety is back, or there's just nobody over there on the left of field other than the cornerback, this route is going to fry man coverage about all the time, right? So if you can get that one and pass lead it to the outside, rack catch it and get it up the field, beautiful. Then we kind of look at our underneath routes, which are going to be Devontae Smith's circle. He's running a drag from right to left on your screen, and then Jahmyr Gibbs, our running back, is essentially running a drag. He has to go up first, but he's going to go up and to the right. So it's a crisscross there, but where it's primarily going to beat cover 3, and this is a weird cover 3 that the computer decided to run into with those 3 deep guys, it's going to beat cover 3 over the top with Vernon Davis on that post route between the 2 drags, and then the out route, they're going to pull a lot of the defenders down, and he's just going to get open there. So if we can take this one, like I said, take it every single time. That was a weird defense that the computer decided to be in. This looks a lot more like your traditional cover 3 that you're going to see, and we weren't able to find it there, but we did find the open route, right? The circle route there. Take what's given. I can't stress that enough. You guys don't have to hit home runs every single time. Whatever is open, take it, but I'm trying to get to the point where we can get to the situation where Vernon Davis ends up getting open. Here it's going to be right there, and there's going to be a nice window. Again, we got pressure. 54, Brian Urlacher also bumped our route there, and obviously no pass interference is called because they don't call pass interference in this year's game when those things happen. But as you can see, he's going to get over the top, and you got to get it in that sweet spot before the safety gets over. Typically, that out route on the left side of the field is going to pull that safety down a little bit more, but we all know practice mode at this point really just loves to cheat. And again, if they kind of, go back to cover that post route in the streak, we got 2 underneath routes. Now, this will also work really well against man coverage because, like I said, the square route over on the left-hand side, he's going to beat single one-on-one man coverage out there. And always, if you want to, you can go a zig route too. I like the out route here, but don't be afraid to use zig routes. They're really, really good. To do a zig route, you're going to need your quarterback to have hot route master, master tactician, or backyard QB. But again, you're going to pull up your hot route menu with triangle or Y. You're going to hit square or X on Xbox to select John Ross, and instead of pressing left on our left analog stick to do the out route, you're going to press left on the directional pad to put him in a zig route. The only problem with this sometimes is that Devontae Smith and that drag could kind of interfere because John Ross is going in the same direction, but he's going to the right and then back to the left. But I just wanted to point out that you do have that option, and just take what's given there. There's going to be X again. Again, you're going to have to worry about knockouts, so possession catch if the window is really tight, but traditionally, when I run this play and it's just a person who sits in cover 3 all game, that route gets open a whole heck of a lot more than it gets covered. Again, a timing thing there. We almost got baited by the computer. But if the home run's not there, if the big play's not there, can't stress it enough. Take the underneath stuff here. Rack catch it. You can get a lot of yards after the catch, especially if you have tank on your running backs and wide receivers. And then one other thing that I do, and it's more of like freestyling with this formation, but I'll just kind of show you the whole concept here. Again, the main requirement for all of these plays for the most part is having hot route master, hot route master, backyard QB, or master tactician, but you can put your tight end on a wheel route. So hot route menu, triangle or Y, X to select your tight end with X on PlayStation, A on Xbox, and then we're going to push right on our directional pad. And as you can see, we now have a wheel route here. You can leave the play just like this with just that one adjustment. You got the 2 drags between Devontae Smith and your running back. You got that deep in route and then the very deep post route. If you want to change it from there, hot route menu, R1 or right bumper on Xbox to select Johnny Wilson, and then up on your left analog stick, you can put him in a streak. So now we got this situation going on. And sometimes when I'm facing a ton of the cover 4 loop blitz that you're going to see a lot, curl routes work very well. If I really want to go crazy, I can then hit my hot route menu, triangle or Y, circle or A on Xbox to select Devontae Smith, and then down on our left analog stick to put him in a curl. So this is kind of just another variation that I run. This play with that wheel route adjustment has a lot of different variations you can run. I mean, you can streak John Ross here over on your left and then put Devontae Smith in a post route like that. Just a lot of weird things that you can do with this one, but it all kind of takes advantage, honestly, of that running back route, which you can't get from any kind of hot route there, because that one beats man coverage and takes away a user a lot of different times. Let's just run it like this. Again, we're getting crazy here. I'm going to have to get outside the pocket, but we did find Jahmyr Gibbs there. So this is more of a play that I either use to beat cover 3 defenses, or I just like to freestyle it and have a lot of fun with it and do a bunch of weird things. Here's another variation: streak with Devontae Smith, post with Johnny Wilson, still got the wheel route with our tight end Vernon Davis, and then the underneath stuff with Jahmyr Gibbs and John Ross. This is all going against cover 3, and there was a window there. Again, that safety kind of came over and took it away from us. One thing you can probably do to kind of occupy that safety a little bit more is when we put John Ross on an out route like we've done this whole video, you can then hit your hot route menu, square or X on Xbox to select John Ross again. Hold down L1 for a custom stem. That's going to be left bumper on Xbox, and you can move it up a little bit. You don't want it to get in the way of that post route, but it will hold that safety and that cornerback a little bit deeper into the route here, and I'm just kind of freestyling this one, so let's try it. Let's try it like this, and you can always block your running back in or tight end to provide a little bit of more time and protection from the pass there, but it didn't look like, all right, that out route didn't hold the safety on the upper left part of the screen as long as I thought it would. But overall, this is just a really fun play to freestyle with. This kind of looks pretty similar to the mesh spot play we ran. I think it was back in episode 1, with a little bit of a different variation there. We still got the wheel route with the tight end. We have the double drags, but instead this time now we have Johnny Wilson and then Jahmyr Gibbs with the post and then the streak there to clear things out. And we're going to hit R1 if we had a little bit more time. So that's it. We're going to visit some other offensive stuff from this playbook for Bunch Nasty specifically. I mean, that's pretty much every play in that formation. Some of the other things we're going to focus on, and you've probably ran against it a million times, are going to be trips, tight end flex. Motion wide post is extremely good there. Verticals and level sail. I mean, basic concepts that have worked since the beginning of time when it comes to Madden. Halfback angle is a really, really good one. Same thing with dagger, which has been around for a very long time. And the running plays. Outside zone is really good because if you run inside zone, a good user is going to shoot the gap and take that away. They don't expect it when it's an outside zone and you get outside of all 5 of your offensive linemen. So we'll probably visit trips, tight end flex just a little bit there, and then also bunch wide flex because it has this halfback power. There's a dig return with the outward zig route there. There's the smash return with the inward dig. So a lot of things that we kind of use the same concepts in the Bunch X Nasty, but from some different formations. And I'm still kind of toying around with this formation, but doubles Y off Nasty prevents some very interesting route concepts by default. And then there's some other things you can kind of utilize in there. So we'll probably take a break for a couple days on the offensive side and work on some defensive videos, but we will get back to the offensive stuff. But primarily everything we did in episodes 1 through 4 is what I mostly run on offense. So we'll do some other formations and get into some other running plays that I use. But hopefully the video is helping. Hopefully you guys are going 9-0 in house rules and winning your MUT champs and your ranked games. And if it is helping, we'll continue to drop these videos. Thank you for watching this one. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.